All right, this is the midterm review part 2. We're starting with number 41. What is the average rate of change for f of x equals 0.5 times the quantity negative 10x plus 24? So we've talked before about how average rate of change is just another word for slope. And we know that in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, the m is slope. We've replaced y with f of x here. However, because we have this set of parentheses with a number out in front, the negative 10 is not actually the slope. So we have to distribute this through. And so 0.5 times negative 10 is the same as half of negative 10, which is negative 5x, and then this would be plus 12. So the negative 5 is in the same position as m, which is the slope, which means that our average rate of change is b, negative 5. All right, 42. What is the solution to the equation x over 7 equals negative 6? When you see something that looks like this, anything with a fraction, that bar in the middle means divide. So the other way we can read this is x divided by 7 equals negative 6. I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite this. If we are going to solve for x to get x by itself here, the way that you undo division is by multiplying. So you can multiply both sides by 7. They cancel on the left, and then x is equal to negative 6 times 7, which is negative 42. So our answer was D. 43, what's the solution to the equation x plus 4 equals negative 12? To get x by itself, we're going to subtract 4 from both sides, and we get x is equal to negative 16. All right, 44. What is the solution to the equation 20 equals x minus 7? So to move this minus 7, we have to add 7 to both sides. These 7's cancel, and I get x equal to 27. And most of these would have been problems that you probably could have just looked at and known the answer to. 45, though, is a little bit trickier. So 8 plus x, all divided by 14, equals 2. So since the 8 and the x are both in the numerator, we have to get them out of the numerator first. So we have to deal with this 14 to start with. So just like we did for number 42, to undo this division bar, we're going to multiply both sides by 14. So they'll cancel on the left, and all I'll have left is the numerator 8 plus x equals 2 times 14, which is 28. We can then subtract 8 from both sides, and x equals 20. The other way that you could have done this is you could have started with your option for A, 28, plugged it in for x, and simplified it to see if this would have equaled 2. So you'd have done 8 plus 28, which is 36, divided by 14. Well, I know 36 divided by 14 is not 2, so that would not have worked. Then when you put 20 in, that would have worked out. All right, 46, what is the solution to the equation negative 6 plus x over 2 equals negative 13? So since this negative 6 is not part of our fraction, that's the thing we want to move first. So I'm just going to add 6 to both sides. X divided by 2 equals negative 7. Multiply both sides by 2, and x is negative 14. And again, for this one, you could have started with your option for A and plugged them in for x to see which one would have worked. Okay. 47, what is the solution to the equation? Okay, when we solve problems like this, the first thing that you need to do is distribute and combine like terms on either side of the equation before you start moving stuff around. So I'm just going to do this over here just for space. So 2 times 7x is 14x, and then 2 times 8. So that's 14x plus 16 equals. Then I have 2 times 9x, which is 18x. 2 times negative 6 is minus 12, and then I have my plus 52 on the other side. I can put these two things together at the end because they are like terms. 52 minus 12 is 40. So I have 14x plus 16 equals 18x plus 40. I'm going to choose to move my 14x because it's smaller, so that when I move that to the other side, the coefficient of x isn't going to be negative. It doesn't really matter how you do it, that's just how I prefer. So I get 16 equals 4x plus 40. Now I'm going to subtract 40 from both sides. 4x on the right hand side, and this is going to be a negative 24, which means that x has to be a negative 6. All right, 48. Given the graph of the equation y equals x plus 3, what is the x-intercept? So that's where the line crosses the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis, and you can see that it's labeled x there. So the line's going to cross right here, but then I want you to notice that all of the answer choices are coordinates. So we need to know what the coordinate of this is. If you recall, when you're writing your ordered pair, x comes first, then y. Because we're looking for the x-intercept, that means that the x value is going to have a number. So that negative 3 has to go in the x value, which means that b was our only option. The other thing that I want you to remember is that the x-intercept is always where y equals 0. So when you're writing the equation of, when you're writing the coordinate of the x-intercept, the y will always be 0. All right, we got 2 more here. 49, what is the equation of the graphed line? We notice that all of our equations are in the same form, y equals mx plus b. So to write this equation, we need to know what the slope m is and what the y-intercept b is. I always begin with b because it's the easiest one to find. The y-intercept, or the y-axis, is the horizontal or vertical one. Oh my god, guys, it's so early in the morning. The y-axis is the vertical axis, and it is labeled with y. So that crosses at negative 2. So my b is going to be negative 2, or I'm actually going to write it as minus 2. And the x will go there. And I've got my y equals, and I just have to figure out what m is. I'm going to tell you right now, we can eliminate option A and option D because they do not have that minus 2 at the end. Now, to find the slope from the y-intercept, I'm going to see how far I have to rise and how far I have to run to get to the next point that's easy to see on my graph, which happens to be here at 1, negative 1. I went up 1 and over 1, which means my slope is 1, but that means that it's not 2, so my answer could not have been B, it had to have been C. All right, last one. Given the graph of the line, what is the behavior of the function? Meaning, what is the line doing? So an increasing line is going to be going up as we go from left to right. A decreasing line will be going down. A constant line is going to be going straight across. That is a horizontal line. And then the last option, the function is increasing and decreasing. Lines don't do that. They can only do one of those things at a time. So that should have been a pretty obvious wrong answer for you. I think I've already shown you what the answer is. It is decreasing because the line is going down. It looks like a downhill slope. If you were skiing, you'd be skiing down the hill. And that's it. That's the whole midterm. Good job, guys.